Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dhirihe Nashtuprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, today we are starting new canto, Canto 12, The Age of Deterioration. Text chapter 1, The Degraded Dynasties of Kali Yuga. Text 1 onwards. Shri Shukuvacha Yondya Puranjayo Nama Bhavishyo Bharhadratha Tasyam Atmati Astu Shanako Hatva Swaminam Atmajam Pradyot Sangyam Rajanam Karta Yat Palaka Sutta Vishakayupata Pastat Putro Bhavita Rajakastataha. Shukdev Goswami said, the last king mentioned in our previous enumeration of the future rulers of the Magadha dynasty was Puranjaya, who will take birth as a descendant of Brihadrat. Puranjaya's minister Shunak will assassinate the king and install his own son Pradyota on the throne. The son of Pradyota will be Palak, his son will be Vishakayupa, and his son will be Rajak. So this was all described in the 9th canto, towards the 9th canto, end of 9th canto. The vicious political intrigue described here is symptomatic of the age of Kali. In the 9th canto of this work, Shukdev Goswami describes how the great rulers of men descended from two royal dynasties, that of the sun and that of the moon. The 9th canto description of Lord Ramchandra, a most famous incarnation of God, occurs in this genealogical narration. And at the end of the 9th canto, Shukdev describes the forefathers of Lord Krishna and Lord Balram. Finally, the appearance of Lord Krishna and that of Lord Balram are mentioned within the context of the narration of the Moon dynasty. The 10th canto is devoted exclusively to a description of Lord Krishna's childhood pastimes in Vrindavan, his teenage activities in Mathura, and his adult activities in Dwarka. The famous epic Mahabharata also describes the events of this period, focusing upon the 5 Pandava brothers and their activities in relation with Lord Krishna and other leading historical figures such as Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, Dronacharya, and Vidura. Within the Mahabharata is Bhagavad Gita, in which Lord Krishna is declared to be the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam, of which we are presently translating the 12th and final canto, is considered a more advanced literature than the Mahabharata, because throughout the entire work, Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute truth and supreme source of all existence, is directly, centrally, and irrefutably revealed. In fact, the first canto of Bhagavatam describes how Sri Vyasadeva composed this great work because he was dissatisfied with this rather sporadic glorification of Lord Krishna in Mahabharata. Although Srimad Bhagavatam narrates the histories of many royal dynasties and the lives of innumerable kings, not until the description of the present age, the age of Kali, do we find a minister assassinating his own king and installing his son on the throne. This incident resembled Dhritarashtra's attempt to assassinate the Pandavas and crown his son Duryodhana king. As the Mahabharata describes, Lord Krishna thwarted this attempt, but with the departure of the Lord for the spiritual sky, the age of Kali became fully manifested, ushering in political assassination within one's own house as a standard technique. So opening Sloka, 12th canto, which describes the age of deterioration or the Kali Yuga. And in this, the minister assassinates a king and installs his son on the throne. Nandi Vardhanas Tatputra Pancha Pradyotana ine Ashtatrinchottara Shatam Bhokshayanti Prithvim Nripa. The son of Rajak will be Nandi Vardhan, and thus in the Pradyotan, dynasty, there will be 5 kings who will enjoy the earth for 138 years. So this is, now we understand Maharaj Parikshit is listening to Shukdev Goswami towards the beginning of Kali Yuga. Right? So these things, Shukdev Goswami is saying this will happen in the future. And exactly these things happen in the future. In modern history that we know of, written by British and Europeans, they don't account for all this. They don't say anything, any of these things happened. Because they want to put down Indian history. They will never mention this. And thanks to the Mughal rule, and then very much thanks to the political parties who came into power after India's independence, they never even bothered to do the search of history properly or write it down properly for us to understand what exactly the history was. This is really the sorry state of affairs of India. All these kings were there. Never mentioned. Never. Nowhere we'll read that. Our history starts from when India was discovered by the Europeans. That's it. That's ridiculous. Where is a mention of this? Son of Rajak will be mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it has to be true. And thus in the Pradyotan dynasty, there will be 5 kings who will enjoy the earth for 138 years. It's all mentioned in Bhagavatam. Shishinagas tato bhavya kakavarnas tatsutah kshema dharma tasya sutah kshetragya kshema dharmaja. Nandivardhan will have a son named Shishunag, and his son will be known as Kakvarn. The son of Kakvarn will be Kshema Dharma, and the son of Kshema Dharma will be Kshetragya. Vidisara sutastasya jata shatru bhavishyati dharvakas tatsuto bhavi dharvakasya jaya smritaha. The son of Kshetragya will be Vidisar, and his son will be Ajatshatru. Ajatshatru will have a son named Dharvak, and his son will be Ajay. Nandivardhan Ajayo Mahanandi Sutastata Shishu Naga Dashavete Sashti Uttar Shatatrayam Samabhokshayanti Prithvim Guru Shreshta Kalo Nripa Mahanandi Suto Rajan Shudra Garbhod Bhavo Bali Mahapadmapati Kashan Nanda Kshatra Vinashikrit Tato Nripa Bhavishyanti Shudra Prayastva Dharmika. Ajay will father a second Nandi Dharma, Nandivardhan, whose son will be Mahanandi. Rest of the Kurus, these 10 kings in the Shishunag dynasty will rule the earth for a total of 360 years during the age of Kali. My dear Parikshit, King Mahanandi will father a very powerful son in the womb of a Shudra woman. He will be known as Nanda and will be the master of millions of soldiers and fabulous wealth. He'll wreak havoc among the Kshatriyas, and from that time onward, virtually all kings will be irreligious Shudras. So much of detail is given. He'll be master of millions of soldiers. And where is it mentioned? Nanda. But this Nanda, it will be described later on. Here is a description of how authentic political authority degenerated and disintegrated throughout the world. There is a supreme Godhead, and there are saintly, powerful men who have taken the role of government leaders and represented that Godhead on earth. With the advent of the age of Kali, however, this transcendental system of government collapsed, and unauthorized, uncivilized men gradually took the reins of power. So from here, it is said from Nanda, King Nanda, then all the kings will be irreligious Shudras. And that's when Varnashram system is completely gone, and Bhagavad Dharma not established at all in the kingdoms, and that's when the Kali Yuga takes over. Sa eka chhatram prithvim anulangita shasana shasishati mahapadmo dvitiya eva bhargavam. That Lord of Mahapadma, King Nanda, will rule over the entire earth, just like a second Parashuram, and no one will challenge his authority. In the 8th verse of this chapter, it was mentioned that King Nanda would destroy the remnants of the Kshatriya order. Therefore, he is here compared to Lord Parshuram, who annihilated the Kshatriya class 21 times in a previous age. Tasya chashtu bhavishyanti sumalya pramukha sutam ya imam bhokshayanti mahim rajanascha shatam samaha. He will have 8 sons headed by Sumalya, who will control the earth as powerful kings for 100 years. And this all happened about 5,000 years ago, not too long ago. Where in European history or American history, Russian history, Chinese history, it's mentioned. Forget about Indian history. It is said here, he will rule over the whole earth. King Nanda, it's not mentioned because they don't want to mention. Navanandan dvijah kashit prapannano dharishyati tesham abhave jagatim Maurya bhokshanti vaikalo. A certain Brahman, Chanakya, will betray the trust of King Nanda and his 8 sons and will destroy their dynasty. In their absence, the Mauryas will rule the world as the age of Kali continues. So after that, Maurya Shasan came. All over the world, it says, will rule the world. And what do we teach Chanakya during the time of Chanakya? What happened? Sikandar, they say Sikandar came and he was defeated, or some say he was defeated, some say he defeated King Porus and went back. If he defeated King Porus, Chanakya, Sikandar, Alexander, which other place he defeated the kings and went back? He ruled. But here it is said in our history books, he defeated and then he had some kind of sandhi and he went back. Why would he go back if he defeated? And then why he didn't go on with this development or killing or defeating other kings in the Maurya dynasty? Chandragupta Maurya was there because he got defeated. He was badly defeated, so badly injured that he died on the way back to Greece. He died in Iraq, in the present-day Iraq. So our history books, historians, all paid for actually. They want to just glorify their own kingdoms, their own governments, and just put down everybody else. But Srimad Bhagavatam is written much before any of these kings even their ancestors were born. And Bhagavatam is the absolute truth. It's not relative truth. So that's why we have to study Bhagavatam, not study these. Of course, to pass the exam in the school, we have to study the history they teach and give the answers, but we have to understand what's the real history. So here it is mentioned, Chanakya is mentioned in Bhagavatam. Only important figures are mentioned here. A certain Brahman, Chanakya, will betray the trust of King Nanda and his 8 sons and will destroy their dynasty. And this is very beautifully portrayed in that series, Chanakya, that was shown on the TV a few years back. In their absence, the Mauryas will rule the world as the age of Kali continues. Sridhar Swami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur both confirm that the Brahman mentioned here is Chanakya, also known as Kautilya or Vatsyayan. The great historical narration, Srimad Bhagavatam, which began with the events prior to the cosmic manifestation, now reaches into the realm of modern recorded history. Modern historians recognize both the Maurya dynasty and Chandragupta, the king mentioned in the following words. Saeva Chandraguptam vai dvijo rajye abhishekshati tatsuto vari sarastu tatascha shoka vardhana. This Brahman will enthrone Chandragupta, whose son will be named Varisar. The son of Varisar will be Ashoka Vardhan. Suyasha bhavita tasya sangata suyasha sutta Kyali shukas tatastasya Soma Sharma bhavishyati shatadhanva tatastasya bhavita tad brihadartha. Ashok Vardhan will be followed by Suyasha, whose son will be Sangat. His son will be Shali Shuka. Shali Shuka's son will be Som Sharma. And Som Sharma's son will be Shatadhanva. His son will be known as Brihadratha. Maurya hiete dashanripa saptatrishat chatottaram samabhoksyanti prithvim kalo kuru kulodvaha. Best of Kurus. These 10 Maurya kings will rule the earth for 137 years of the Kali Yuga. Although 9 kings are mentioned by name, Dasharath appeared after Suyasha, before the rule of Sangat, and thus there are 10 Maurya kings. Agnimitras tatas tasmat sujyeshto bhavita tataha vasumitro bhatrakashvacha pulindo bhavita sutta. Tato ghosha sutas tasmad vajramitro bhavishyati. Tato bhagavatas tasmad deva bhuti kurudvaha. Shunga dashate bhokshayanti bhumim varsha shatadikam tata karna vaniyam nuhumir yasyat telpa gunan ripa. My dear King Parikshit, Agnimitra will follow as king, and then Sujeshta. Sujeshta will be followed by Vasumitra, Bhadrak, and the son of Bhadrak, Pulinda. Then the son of Pulinda, named Ghosh, will rule, followed by Vajramitra, Bhagvat, and Devabhuti. In this way, the most eminent of the Kuru heroes, 10 Shunga kings, will rule over the earth for more than 100 years. Then the earth will come under the subjugation of the kings of Kanva dynasty, who will manifest very few good qualities. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the Shung dynasty began when General Pushpamitra killed his king, Brihadratha, and assumed power. After Pushpamitra came Agnimitra and the rest of Shung dynasty, which lasted for 112 years. It's so specific, it is. And how the movie makers, now they go 10 steps further. How they show all these kings, how they depict them in the movies. They show them they were very lusty kings after just the women and power, and that's it. And that's why they were all defeated, they were all killed, and the dynasties were gone. No. Yes, they were Shudras. They were not Kshatriya kings. But still they knew how to rule properly, how to fight properly. Yungam hatva deva bhutim karnavo amatyastu kaminam swayam karishate rajyam vasudeva mahamati. Vasudeva, an intelligent minister coming from the Karma family, will kill the last of the Shunga kings, a lusty debauchee named Devabhuti, and assume rulership himself. So because that One king was lusty, so he was killed. But not all. They just movie makers. They just show the kings like they're just lusty after every woman. Apparently, because King Devabhuti was lusty after the wives of other men, his minister killed him, assuming leadership and thus beginning the Kanva dynasty. Tasya putrastu bhumitras tasya narayana sutta kanvayanaine bhumim chatvare shach panchacha shatani trini bhoksyanti varshanam cha kalau yuge. The son of Vasudev will be Bhumitra and his son will be Narayan. These kings of the Kanva dynasty will rule the earth for 345 more years of the Kali Yuga. Hatva Kanvam Susharmanam Tad Bhrityo Vrishlo Bali Gam Bhokshyati Andhra Jatiya Kanchit Kalam Asattamaha. The last of the Kanva, Susharma, will be murdered by his own servant Bali, a low-class Shudra of the Andhra race. This most degraded Maharaj Bali will have control over the earth for some time. Here is a further description of how uncultured men infiltrated government administration. The so-called king named Bali is described as Asattama, a most impious, uncultured man. But it is mentioned in Bhagavatam, so definitely it must have taken over. Krishna Namat Tadbhrata Bhavita Prithvipati Sri Chantakarna Tatputra Purnamasastu Tatsutaha Lambodarastu Tatputras Tasmache Bilko Nripaha Meghaswatish Chibilkada Atmanastu Tasyacha Anishta Karma Alayas Talakastasya Chatmaja Purisha Bhirus Tatputras Tato Raja Sunandana Chakoro Bhavo Yatra Shivaswatir Arindamaha Tasyapi Gomati Putraha Purimana Bhavita Tata Medashira Shivaskando Yagyashri Sutastataha Vijayastatsuto Bhavyash Chandra Vigya Salomadhi Ete Trishan Ripatayascha Chatvarya Chatanicha Chat Pancha Shacha Prithvim Bhoksyanti Kurunandana. The brother of Bali named Krishna will become the next ruler of the earth. His son will be Shantakarna and his son will be Purnamas. The son of Purnamas will be Lambodar, who will father Maharaj Chibilak. From Chibilak will come Meghaswati, whose son will be Ataman. The son of Ataman will be Anishtakarma. His son will be Haleya and his son will be Talak. The son of Talak will be Purishabhiru, and following him, Sunandan will become king. Sunandan will be followed by Chakora and the 8 Bahus, among whom Shivavasti will be great subduer of enemies. The son of Shivaswati will be Gomati. His son will be Puriman, whose son will be Medashira. His son will be Shivaskanda, and his son will be Yagishri. The son of Yagishri will be Vijay, who will have 2 sons, Chandravigya and Lomathi. These 30 kings will enjoy sovereignty over the earth for a total of 456 years. So, favorite son of the Kurus. 400 Shat Panchashan, 456 years. Sapta Bhira Avabhritya Dashagardha Bhino Nripa Kanka Shodash Bhupala Bhavishyanti Ati Lolupa. Then will follow 7 kings of the Abhira race from the city of Avabhriti, and then 10 Gardhabhis. From them 16 kings of the Kankas will rule and will be known for their excessive greed. Tatovashto Yavana Bhavyash Chaturdush Turushkaka Bhuyo Dash Gurundasha Mola Eka Dashavatu. 8 Yavans will then take power, followed by 14 Turushkas, 10 Gurundas, and 11 kings of the Mola dynasty. So, much more details or descriptions are given in further text. So, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Prabhuji, when was Bhagavatam written?
It was composed towards the end of Dwapar Yuga or a beginning of Kali Yuga. See, Ved Vyasji wrote towards the end of Dwapar Yuga, and then Shukdev Goswami spoke to Parikshit Maharaj towards the beginning of Kali Yuga.
And how many years was the beginning of Kali?
This is about 5,000 years ago.
Oh, okay. And when will it end?
Kali Yuga? Well, we have only 427,000 more years to go.
Oh.
And then Satyuga will start. It's not the end of the earth. It's not the end of the universe. Satyuga will start. So the cycle goes on. Then again Treta, Dwapar, Kali Yuga. Then again Treta, Dwapar, Kali Yuga. Yeah, let's stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.